Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting edition. It's Media Night with brand new faces, sort of, kind of, but you get the picture. Media Night, where we talk about all the cool stuff that's happening, all the disastrous news right now when it comes to Warner Brothers, all that fun stuff. It's your boy Gio here, still petitioning for an Inhumans Omnibus. We're going to get it sometime. And I am joined by two awesome co-hosts. I love these guys. I'm so happy that one of them came back after a lengthy retirement, sort of. But first, let me introduce right over here, Comics Guide. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man. Happy Wednesday. It's, man, every time I look online, it's like, what did Warner Brothers do to fuck themselves up now?
I thought we were kind of stable, and it didn't happen.
No.
So down below, making a triumphant return, one night only? Who knows? We'll see. Gabe loves 90s comics. Gabe, how you doing, brother?
Hey, everybody. Hey, I'm glad to be back to hang out with my my best online buddies, 1000%. Here, a lot of stuff to really kind of chat about, with especially with the who knows what's going on with DC. Like it's either something weird going on with Ezra Miller or some other movie kind of nonsense going on. So we'll be talking about that. And then while I'm here, me and Lou have our Patreon after dark campfire is going to be next Saturday. So I don't know. I guess the link is still in the description down below if you want to hang out with us on Patreon. It's a tip situation. You could just throw us a tip, $1, $2, whatever. We're not asking for anything. This is just a little bit of a chance for everybody to feel the option to be able to say thanks for all the work that Omnibros has been doing for 6 years now or something like that, right? And then there's also another cool tier. I think it's $5 a month, where you get to have a private little hangout like this, where we, I don't know, do a lot of drugs and beat up homeless people and talk about comic books. You know, it's the stuff that we can't talk about on here. It gets lively. Like, we talk trash. It's very much after dark. It's the stuff that, since the show is sponsored, we try to kind of keep some certain opinions a little bit more transparent.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the after party show, it is BYOB. Everybody bring their own booze. We get a little wasted, and we just let the opinions and the behind the scenes outtakes happen live through there. So, what
up? Shout out to the chat. It's already they're already chiming in. Thank you, everybody. Kenny, welcome back, Gabe.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see Kenny. Always. You know what? Kenny is always, from day one, has been just a huge proponent for the show. Always boosting us, always hearing kind words. Yep. I don't know what he likes more, Superman or Omnibros, because he always gives both Superman and Omnibros a lot of boost and a lot of love. And that's always appreciated, 100% from Kenny there.
Marvel Bab, oh bloody hell, it's Gabe. Hope all is well and with the family.
Everything's good. Family is fantastic. I appreciate everybody's concern. Thanks for remembering me. It's been a minute since I've been around.
Yeah. Shout out to Hayden. Hey, icons. Thank you. Thank you. Roberto's asking, Gabe, how's the toe?
All right. So, Roberto, if you want a toe update, I just got back from the doctor, and the short story is it is fucked to the point where I can't even have surgery on it because there's really not enough bone left to screw or plate together. So it's going to be just let it heal, and I'm just going to have shards of bone chilling out in my toe.
It's like reverse Iron Man. Instead of the shards to the heart, shards to the toe.
It's the shards to the toe. Yeah, and thankfully I don't need any kind of magnetic pull to keep it out of my heart.
He's going to install an arc reactor in his toe. Hey, give some hold on. Okay, give some context to the people that don't know what exactly happened to your big toe.
So I was at the gym getting my swole massive beast mode going on, trying to look like a demon. And I dropped a 45-pound plate. If anybody knows what a 45-pound plate is, it's those big circular 45-pound weights. Dropped it on my toe. I don't know if it slipped out of my hand or if I just didn't rack it right and I thought it was on. I let it go. Either way, long story short, it bounced off the top of my big toe, and the term that the doctor used in the urgent room was the bone exploded. And it's basically like a compound fracture because some of the bone cut the top of my toe. Like, it went out and cut my toe. And Went to the doctor today. They pulled off the big toe toenail like it was a potato chip. Just ripped it off. And honestly, none of it hurt. It's not that bad. I'm not in pain. I'm not suffering or anything like that. It's one of those things where that's when you know it's broken, is when you drop something heavy on it and it doesn't hurt. I mean, if it hurts, it's usually like a sprain or a bruise or something of that sort. If it doesn't hurt, it's a broken toe or it's broken. So I dropped it. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Ow, I dropped it. That sucks. Oh, this hurts. And I continued my workout for like an hour until my sock felt wet. And I was like, something's going on. I gotta go home and check this out. And it's pretty gnarly. You can look at pictures of it on my Instagram. If you go to Gabe Loves 90s Comics, if you want to see some cruel looking photos of my toe.
And not safe for work toe action. There you go.
Yeah. I'm gonna start a broken toe Patreon or OnlyFans if people want to just see some discuss. Yeah.
You got to go to Wiki Feet and post your feet there.
That's a thing.
I'm in. If I get some money for it, yeah, I'll post.
That's a website for the toe aficionados and fetish people.
That's interesting because I know Gio is adverse to feet pics and stuff, but he knows all the best places.
I try and know a little bit of everything. Oh, look at that, James! Thank you so much hooking up with.
Thank you, James, for
Instagram link. Thank you.
That's my Instagram right there. Gabe Loves 90s Comics. Yeah, you can see some stuff on there.
Comic Z Master. Don't lie, it was Jess, wasn't it?
No, not Jess, but you know what? I do got a bunch of speaking of Jess, I do got a lot of really good painkillers right now. So Jess, hit me up if you need any. Because I don't take them. I'm just storing them. Like I don't painkillers. Painkillers are scary, and I was telling it to the guys behind the scenes. That's how like addictions happen, right? Yeah. So where they want me to take an entire Vicodin 10 4 times a day, and that's not going to happen. That's how it's Nevada. Nevada, from my understanding, is everybody's on painkillers out here apparently. Yeah. So I'm trying not to skirt that. Look, just fact of the matter is all of us here who are collectors is really just a different addiction, right? So I want to keep away from any other scary addictions coming my way, like painkillers.
Yeah, true. We have that. We kind of have that addictive personality,
right?
It's pretty bad. So, yeah. So, what's the recovery process on something like this looking like, man? A few months? Like, what do you?
3 months of just hanging out. Like, there's nothing they could do about it. They're like, oh, you guys just kind of. They gave me this fancy big ass boot to put on my foot.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. And they said basically, and I hate doctors. This always happens to me. Anytime I get hurt or anything happens, they just go rub some dirt on it and walk it off, bitch. Like it's really just that kind of mentality because there's nothing they could do. It's just there's not enough bone to put together. You just got to wear this boot thing, keep off your feet for 3 months, and have at it. Well, they said in 2 weeks I could probably start going back to the gym and start walking around and stuff like that. But
yeah, do some little lightweight, no leg workouts and stuff like that, upper body and everything.
Yeah, I'll do leg workouts, but not like anything involving my feet. I won't be able to do any kind of like squats or calf workouts. But I could do some leg extensions and some hamstrings and things like that.
Okay, all right, that's not terrible.
I guess I'm hoping. I mean, I got my next doctor's appointment in 2 weeks. I'll ask him what the deal is.
Oxmeat Pete, hi friends, and Gabe.
Hey, Oxmeat Pete. It's been a minute. He's still got that awesome icon there, too.
Roberto Rodriguez, Vicodin 10 will make anything go away.
Painkillers don't make the pain go away. They just don't make you care about the pain. Gabe needs steel toe workout shoes now.
Dude, that's what I was like, man. Do they make like steel toed workout boots? Because that's the thing. I'm sure I'm not the first person to drop a freaking plate on my foot. But luckily, it wasn't like the middle of my foot, or else I would have been like, something serious. Yeah, that's Daredevil. I got this really cool
wait, let me highlight
JR Daredevil shirt.
It's pretty badass.
For all the Daredevil fans out there.
What is it that they said 6 more inches to the left, to the right? It would have been
just 6 more inches, like because like the like the top of my toe, right? It's like right here. If it would have been like 6 inches to like the bottom, like where all your bones are in your feet, that they're like that ends athletes' careers, like basketball players, football players, that ends their career.
Wow. Thankfully,
speaking of ending career, anybody hear about Ezra Miller lately? No.
But I will segue. Speaking of Daredevil, because you highlighted the shirt, let's give a shout out to the sponsor of tonight's episode. That is, of course, InStockTrades.com, your official a home for all things collected editions. Get your omnis, trade paperbacks, hardcovers, manga, all that fun stuff. Deals up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts tack on an extra 2% to that. If you place an order of $50 or more, you get free shipping. Fantastic customer service and wonderful packaging at InStockTrades.com, the official sponsor of Omnibros Live here on the Omnibus Collectors Network. Shout out to IST. Also, let me remind you guys once again that next Monday we'll be doing the gift card giveaway valued at $50. Once again, courtesy of InStockTrades.com.
Look at all those good books they got on there. They even throw up like damage stuff, like week of too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see the Animal Man damage on, and who knows what they mean by damage? Because a lot of times it's damage. It's like, oh, the cellophane's ripped or something of the sorts like that. So
yeah, I think all of us have gotten damaged books from IST, and the fact is that a damage might be like a little ding on the corner or something tiny as far as like a scratch on the cover.
Right. If you're not super particular about condition, sometimes a damaged book will probably be your better bet, because if you can get that, Animal Man for like $30, go for it.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, when I was still selling in the collectors group, I had sold, I forgot what it was. I think it was like a Lock and Key Master Edition, and the guy hits me up, probably like about a week after he gets it, and says, he shows me a photo. He's like, yeah, the corner of it is dinged. I want my money back, but I want to keep the book. I never responded back.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I mean, we've all been in the group, you see that a lot. You see, you get those people who complain because, oh, it's slightly warped, or it's, like your normal like shelf wear. Like it's been on the shelf, it's been slid back and forth. So there's those minor kind of scuffs on the dust jacket or something like that, or the corners poking out of the cellophane wrap and things of that sort. So again, if you're not super particular about conditions, roll the dice on that damage stuff. Save yourself a little bit of money. If you are particular about it, then just pay full discounted price at IST. They're always super helpful, especially the customer service and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I still buy stuff from there on a regular basis. Like I just got a package not too long ago. I made a purchase. I made an order yesterday for that Fantastic Four Epic Collection. So yeah, I mean it's still a regular cycle for myself too.
Don't we get that Alex Ross Fantastic Four book in the next week or two?
I think it's sometime in September.
That's
that
is my most anticipated book this year. I have imagine any other artist that thought they had an Eisner in the bag this coming year just said, "Fuck."
Yeah. Hold your project until next year. Yeah. Once Alex Ross swinging that big giant artist, slung around, and everybody's gonna get loose. Like it's not gonna happen.
So they might as well just hand the man the Eisner right now for best artist for next year, because nobody's gonna take it from him.
Also, when's the last time that he's done interiors?
That's the big thing.
Earth X? No, I don't think he even did Earth X. Kingdom Come? I mean, maybe somebody in the chat can point this out, but when's the last time that he actually did like a full length story in interiors?
Right. Even if the story is meh, which it's Alex Ross, I doubt it. The art is going to be next level shit. Like you're not even going to question how good the art is.
Oh, just the preview images they put out is like, forget it. It's all he has it in the bag. Plus it's Fantastic Four, and it's good to see. Sorry, Gio. Me and Gio's been in the same boat where Gio's a fan of Inhumans. I'm a fan of Fantastic Four, where they've just been neglected forever. Yeah. But now it's starting to come around. So, we're getting a new writer for Fantastic Four. We're getting this Alex Ross book is coming out. So it's time to kind of start seeing some Fantastic Four coming up, which is scary because I'm going to start buying so much Fantastic Four merchandise. I'm going to take out like a mortgage on my house or sell a big toe or something.
Dude, once the movie drops, they're going to drop those Hot Toys. And you're going to
that's the trouble. That's my scary point, because I will have to get those Hot Toys. Can you imagine I don't know what the Thing is going to look like in the MCU, but a Thing Hot Toy is going to be amazing. Or like Galactus, because Galactus sooner or later. A Galactus Hot Toy, I don't know how they're going to do it or what, but
I think the Thing would look great in a Hot Toy with all the detail and stuff.
And again, it's going to depend on the actors. Like if they keep with John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, that'll be an awesome Hot Toy, I think.
The book comes out. Preview says August 31st.
So if a preview says that, that probably means November then. I think I have it on pre-order at Amazon. I always pre-order my stuff on Amazon just in case, like I forget or something like that, and I get it, So
Now, Gabe, what if they just don't do the Fantastic Four, but they do all the other smaller characters as well, like the ones that are in the All Red Run, where you have the kids and the other classmates and stuff like that.
I'd be down with like Future Foundation, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do like Matt Fraction's run. I'm not gonna do like She-Thing or Ant-Man or maybe a She-Hulk, Fantastic Four She-Hulk, because she was a part of Fantastic Four during like the John Byrne run and stuff like that. But either way, it's gonna be like, oh, deposit. Like I'm getting every single, like I'm gonna have to. Like, what is it? Michael, thanks for the love, everybody. Wow. Never been welcome back before. Like, this is amazing. Cool. Yeah, Cyberforce Volume 1 looks great.
Cyberforce, yeah.
I backed the Kickstarter for like half a minute and then I canceled it because I know that this stuff all comes out through like Diamond, or it's going to come out through like normal like distributors, and you're going to get it for like half off, Yeah, if they ever do a comic accurate hot toy, haven't helped me. Dude,
that's the only reason I've never gotten a hot toy, because I don't like the movie stuff for figures and statues. I'd rather get like comic book accurate.
Yeah, too bad they don't do that. They stick with the actor stuff. They stick with the movie versions on all of that stuff for the most part. They're still doing like DC like hot toys for some reason.
Yeah,
I mean, at the rate Warner Brothers is going, they might not be doing much DC stuff for long.
Okay, so let's segue into that.
That's how it works. Smoothest transition ever.
Beautiful.
A train wreck. That whole situation is a train wreck. What do you think?
An article here from Screen Rant, and unfortunately today we learned that Shazam 2 will in fact be delayed to March, taking over Aquaman's spot, and now Aquaman is coming out friggin' Christmas Day 2023.
God damn.
I am really bummed out about this.
What was the original, or no, the last date, I should say, for Aquaman that we had? It was supposed to be this year, right? They put out that whole like movie trailer. I think they were playing it in front of movies too, like a trailer.
They put the trailer at
that 2022 is going to be the DC year. We're going to get Black Adam. We're going to get Shazam. We're going to get Aquaman.
The original slate was Black Adam in the summer, and then Aquaman was supposed to be October, and then Shazam early next year. And then they shuffled everything around, and now Black Adam's October, Shazam was going to be before Christmas, and Aquaman in March, and the Flash movie in the summer. So now they just, I don't know, they just switched the two movies around.
I mean, hopefully it's for the right reasons, and it's to make the movie better, and not just like, oh, we're afraid of Avatar 2 or things of that sort. Because Christmas Day is like the best day to put out a movie. It's a weird date to put out like an Aquaman movie, but Christmas Day films are always just box office winners. They always blow up hard.
It says a lot about the studio that they have a lot of hope for Aquaman 2, which they should, because the last one grossed like $1 billion at the box office.
Yep.
But I think the bigger part of this is that Warner Brothers, so it wasn't officially announced. This is like insider information, and everybody's running with it, that Warner Brothers only has enough money right now to put out 2 movies for the rest of the year.
That's sad.
That is sad. Them bitches are broke.
That's like your parents going, sorry, we don't have enough money to buy you new school clothes this year. You're going to have to wait till your birthday.
They have almost no money left in the bank. So, yeah.
I hope that's not true, because that's just scary. You mentioned it in the chat, like, how long until they start selling off, start selling off like rights and goods and stuff like that. Hopefully not, because I don't want DC to go under, because once DC goes under, it's just going to really hurt the comic book market and stuff. Not even the movie side of things, just the publishing side. And the DC publishing side, I know this is just kind of like a constant community kind of annoyance, but it's all Batman. We all know it's just Batman. It's just from what we've seen. So we'll see. Hopefully this is what is it that they call like in sports, like a restructuring year? So hopefully with Discovery like taking over, if anybody's ever worked for a company where they get bought out or you get like a new management group, there's always just kind of that Those kind of growing pains with the new kind of thought processes that happen and things like that. So we'll see, because the last time that they had a change of a regime is when AT&T took over, right? And they took over the day that Batman, God damn it, the Wiener Batman book came out, and it was just a disaster after that, and everything just became just a joke, and everything just really got soft with that Black Label book.
It's this
Batman Damned. Gotta look at my shelf.
I asked Gabe so if they start selling assets, I think DC will be fine, because Batman, Superman, these are all assets that if you buy, it's just a license to print money. But I'm thoroughly looking forward to the day that that James Bond shows up in the Justice League movie, because I can guarantee you that the minute they start selling assets, they will have a line a mile long from different companies wanting to buy the fuck out of those properties.
Right. And the thing is that we care because we know the potential that DC has in general. And that potential has not been even scratched at. Like, they barely peeled the label back behind on the potential of this, because all it's been is the basic characters that is everywhere and been everywhere for the last 80 years. Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash, the main kind of drive of characters. But now with like Black Adam, you start seeing like these JSA characters like Dr. Fate, like that is cool. Like that gives me like goosebumps, because it's like, all right, are they going to do the Spectre next? Are we going to get more Justice Society characters? Are we going to are we going to finally maybe a New Gods, even though that Tom King New Gods project got scrapped? It's things like that where it's so much potential, where you can see, like, just to compare it to Marvel, but Marvel's got Ironheart coming out, right? They got Miss Marvel coming out. They got all these characters that nobody's ever really cared about or known about, because they're newer. They've been around for less than 20 years. Already getting like spotlight, and it's developing fans, and it's developing money, and it's developing propositions, and it's developing everything. And with DC, it's like, oh, here's another Batman. Oh, look, it was Ben Affleck, and now it's Robert Pattinson, and we don't even know if really Robert Pattinson's gonna be back or not. That's still kind of swirling around. And Michael Keaton came back as Batman. Oh wait, nope, maybe they're reshooting it with just Ben Affleck, which is cool, but it's still just it really just disturbs. It kind of makes everything feel like it's on shaky ground.
Yeah.
I honestly think they just need to take a year off for the Capes stuff, and just go, okay, this is what our plan is going to be. We're going to make one cohesive universe. We're going to stop dicking around right now with the multiverse stuff, with the exception of Matt Reeves' Batman, because that's also a license to print money, and the Joker stuff, because that's the Joker movie, the sequel that supposedly is going to be a musical. They've got the whole team back from Joker 1. We're going to focus on this going forward, and this is what it's going to be. We have to get this in order. We have to get this on track, and we need a fucking Superman movie. We need a Superman movie. He is our tentpole character, and for whatever reason, we can't get him right in the movie form. And Henry Cavill wants to do the movie. He is down to do Superman again. Why have they not brought him back? Maybe his schedule's too busy. There are talks that he has met with Marvel for a character. There's a whole bunch of stuff, which, if you want to see the internet burn down, you show Henry Cavill show up in the next Marvel movie.
Oh yeah, that's a nail in the coffin. And that's how crazy would that be if he plays like another Superman-esque character, like some of the rumors that he might be Hyperion or even Captain Britain or something like that, right? Like, and again, like, Kenny Crayley knows for sure. I'll call Kenny Crayley out because he's a big Superman fan, but the Warner Brother CW like Superman stuff, fantastic. Really great stuff, but for some reason they can't get that same quality over into the theatrical releases side of things, I think.
Now, he's too young, but how about Henry Cavill as Mr. Fantastic?
I'm down with that. Sure, that'll work. I don't think he needs to be that old. I don't, he seems to be about the right age-ish,
Yeah. And Oxme Pete makes a good point. We have the X-Men that are coming, which means they are going to be scouring Hollywood. They're probably looking right now. They're probably trying to figure out who they're going to cast for the X-Men. And the X-Men are huge.
Mhm.
There's going to be a line a mile long outside of Marvel to try to get a spot as an X-Men character.
Or same with the Fantastic
movie.
Four. Those two new franchises.
Yeah.
If all the Avengers main characters age out, because that's kind of what's happening with, like, Robert Downey Jr. and eventually those guys are all going to just age out, because Robert Downey Jr. is in his 50s, Mark Ruffalo's in his 50s, things like that. You got this whole two new complete universes that are going to open up. Fantastic Four opens up Cosmic. That opens up Galactus and Blastar and the Negative Zone and the Nihilist and all of that stuff. And then the X-Men opens up the X-Men, which is,
it's a whole
3 billion different characters. Yeah.
Well, we also have Secret Wars coming in a few years, which in my mind, Secret Wars will be just a giant reboot for the MCU. So certain characters that were dead will probably come back. We'll probably get new iterations of characters like Iron Man or Captain America and stuff like that. I don't mind that. I personally think that's kind of the way to go with these characters for the most part. Is
James Bond it out. They have their own eras and generations and stuff. Yeah.
People don't bitch and moan when there's a new most people don't bitch and moan when there's a new James Bond, and they just kind of go with it and go, okay, this is the new James Bond. Why can't we do the same thing with a new Captain America, or why can't we do the same thing with another Iron Man? I understand that it's important that we have the legacy characters like Sam Wilson, who has taken over the mantle, and I think that's great. But further on down the line, they cast older actors for this, and now we're starting to see them age. Anthony Mackie's, I think, in his 40s, almost 50, like you pointed out. A lot of our big tentpole guys are approaching 50. I think the youngest one is probably Chris Hemsworth, who he probably just hit 40 himself. And, Gabe, the older you get, the tougher it is to keep that body in that kind of shape. Yeah. It's difficult.
Or even just not even the body and the shape, but just like your face and your energy level, and to be able to do those kinds of movies, I would expect this is a toll on the body and the strength. So yeah, and then like what James Abel said in the chat, Fantastic Four, that opens up Inhumans 100%. There you go, Gio. There's our chance, because Black Bolt reappearing in the Multiverse of Madness was incredible.
That was cool.
Absolutely incredible. That made up for that craptacular TV show / movie. Like, totally made up for that.
Boy.
And they're just teasing. They're just showing the cleavage, and I'm ready to just get it all going.
To go back to this article for a minute before I close it out, it says here that James Wan's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom needs more time in post-production, so it's moving from March to December. And another thing Deadline points out is that Shazam will be moving to March, and will have access to IMAX screens on its new date. That's beneficial for them.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think. Well, there's also speculation that a lot of the reshoots and stuff that they've been doing is because, oh my God, can you imagine if Michael Keaton is not in these movies? There's talk that Michael Keaton, all the stuff that he's done, will be scrapped, and they're going with Ben Affleck going forward.
That's hard, because Ben Affleck's my favorite current modern Batman, but then Michael Keaton is my Batman from 1980, 89 was it? Yeah.
But you have to remember, and it goes back to what we were talking about a couple minutes ago, the age thing. If I talked about it on previous episodes here, it didn't make sense to me to rely on Keaton for Batman because he's old. And
unless we were going to do Batman Beyond.
Unless you're going to do Batman Beyond.
Don't bring that up, dude. Don't tease me with that. That's the best idea. That was everybody's hopes and dreams. And again, that goes back to what we were saying earlier of the potential of all these characters, these gold mine characters that DC has. We should be having a Batman Beyond by now. We're getting a Blue Beetle, hopefully, still, but still like that. That's great. They cast that character well, and then there should have been a Batman Beyond. There should have been a Batman Beyond by now. There should have been a Green Lantern by now. Like, we should have been doing Blackest Night by now. Like, that should have been already in the works at this point.
Blackest Night itself could be their like large scale Infinity War, where you bring everybody together for this huge monumental threat against all these villains and stuff like that. Blackest Night alone is what their Thanos thing should be. They could build up to it so much. There's so much that they can do and work up to. There's so many great events. They can build up to a Crisis. They can build up to so many fucking things. They can build up to Darkseid, like this dude, Zack Snyder, was trying to build up. They have material there. They just don't know how to use it and how to execute it, which is really just a damn shame, because I would fucking kill to see a Booster Gold TV show along the lines of what they've done with She-Hulk or some of these other minor characters. I would kill for a Dead Man TV show. They have so many fucking great properties. You want a horror movie? Because Warner Brothers loves doing the horror stuff like The Conjuring. You have Animal Man. You can do so much. Take Jeff Lemire's run and adapt it.
Or the whole Justice League Dark area, with Zatanna and Deadman and all that stuff. Like
we should have had Zatanna by now. We should have had, she should have been we should have had a Power Girl by now. And it just, I really like what Hayden said about, Hugh Jackman aging out. That's the idea too. Like, that guy was waking up at 3:00 in the morning to eat a chicken, like an entire chicken, just because to get that protein and get that kind of to keep those protein levels going up. Trust me, I understand how difficult that is. 1 gram of protein per pound you weigh. Yeah, try to sucking in 230 grams of protein on a daily basis. It's rough. Yeah, especially because you can't just do energy or protein drinks. You have to do real food. So that's difficult. But yeah, they should have been having these. It just seems like from forever, especially when they started selling the business over and over and over again. It just seems like too many soups or too many chefs in the kitchen. Too many hands trying to say, we want it this way, we want it that way. And you can see it by just the way things are changing, Now all of a sudden Ben Affleck, fine with me, but it's just the idea that we basically promised you Michael Keaton, and that might not be there anymore. And then, and Ezra Miller and then Henry Cavill. I don't know. How much longer is Gal Gadot going to be around? Where's she been in anything lately with anything related? She should be like their Flash character that pops up in almost every film, because she's been around forever, right? So she has a potential of popping around everywhere.
There's a rumor for Shazam that she might get a tease or cameo or Easter egg. I don't know.
Please. The second Wonder Woman movie was it was what it was, but still, that first movie was $1 billion masterpiece, so I think there's a lot going on. And then with everything that they're doing with HBO Max, they cut off that Batman animated series that they were going to do. They're going to sell that off to a different streaming service. It is what it is.
I think the biggest loss of all this will be if they decide to just say, fuck it, we're selling off everything. We're going to lose Peacemaker. And goddamn it, Peacemaker is the best fucking thing that Warner Brothers and this whole DC Universe thing has put out. And goddamn, I fucking love Peacemaker. Fans were so worried about Peacemaker, they bothered the fuck out of James Gunn for James Gunn to come on social media and actually say, guys, Peacemaker is fine. We're currently working on season 2. You're going to get a second season of Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. And so everybody knows Jess just experienced Peacemaker, and I would love to come back and talk to Jess about Peacemaker when he starts talking about it, man, because that's so great. Yeah, Gal should be in absolutely everything. She should have been the one that's putting in the Justice League together, kind of thing,
Well, the thing is, so let's go back to kind of Batman Beyond. You have the perfect director that works for your studio and does a lot of movies for your studio to do a Batman Beyond movie. He did Dune. He did Blade Runner 2049. He's doing the second Dune movie. Denis Villeneuve would crush a Batman Beyond movie.
Oh, that would be great. Give me that synth soundtrack. Let's go.
Oh, just the idea of just with him doing Blade Runner, he knows how to do futuristic environments.
Yeah.
And that's a Batman Beyond. It'd be amazing. There's no reason why we shouldn't have that already. There's nothing Batman Beyond other than the comics right now. There should have been another cartoon series or a TV movie or an animated movie, I should say, things of that sort. But
look at Kay's car in Blade Runner 2049. It's the Batman Beyond Batmobile.
Yeah,
it is almost spot on to the damn thing.
Yep. Speaking of missed opportunities, this one's just a little sad and pathetic, but I wanted to segue that. Since we're talking about Warner Brothers and DC, they're going to do a secret back row screening at the Warner Brothers lot.
This is going to get leaked.
This is affectionately
funeral screening.
Funeral
That's
screening.
sad.
Before
in one way or another. Watch.
Before they're gonna do a screening before the footage is put under lock and key, and
This
the
fucking
ones that
thing's
are gonna
getting leaked,
see
Deadpool
this
motherfuckers. Like,
are
Somebody, come on,
Yes.
somebody's gonna leak this shit, and you're gonna see this being old school, like when you would go to cons and people have DVDs of it. Somewhere.
yeah, there's gonna be that weird dude that has all the bootleg movies and stuff. Like they have like the bootleg Wonder Woman pilot with the homegirl from John Wick in it and stuff. Yeah.
So multiple sources tell the Hollywood Reporter they are said to be for people who worked on the movie, both cast and crew, as well as representatives and executives. One source described them as funeral screenings held before the film is sent off to an undisclosed
It's like a wake.
afterlife, with footage locked away in a vault, either physical or digital.
Somebody needs to jump on that coffin before it goes into the ground.
If it's digital, they are seriously underestimating how diehard some of these fans are, because I guarantee you within about 3 or 4 years, this is going to get leaked online.
Or maybe, maybe the bright side of things, maybe they'll get such a good reaction out of it that they go, maybe we should release this or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to think positive about it. It'd be nice because that's Burnside Batgirl, and I was so pumped for Burnside Batgirl.
It's
and friggin' Brendan Fraser as Firefly.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, this whole thing is apparently a tax write-off, so that's why it can't come out. That's their excuse, and it will be illegal for them to put it out after they claim it as a tax write-off. So the next option is this is probably going to leak online at some point.
Or I say a couple of years from now. I talked about it. They do like, here's the unaired Batgirl movie on special limited run Blu-ray edition or something. I don't know. They'll do something with it at some point.
It's just sad just to see just that work go unfulfilled. And I'm glad that the crew and the cast and the executives and the people who were involved in it will at least get to see it on the big screen, I guess, whatever. But it's just sad to see that much effort. It was done, right? It was done. They were just completed. It was in the can, right? Yeah. So at least they get the chance to experience it, but it's also kind of daunting as well. It's like, that's nice, I guess. I got to see it, but I didn't really get to see it flourish or, the fans' reactions and, that kind of stuff to come out of it too.
Yeah, no,
that's so morbid. I love it.
You got to also think, let's say Warner Brothers starts selling off a lot of their stuff in the next few years. That's a lot of properties to get rid of. They've got the Potter license, which I can guarantee you Disney will probably try to pick that up really quick. The Harry Potter stuff. They've got they have the Godzilla stuff, right? For the US, or is that Legendary, Gio?
No, that's still Legendary with Toho. That's not moving. Sorry. Toho will not allow that.
They've got Warner. They've got the DC catalog. What else do they have of note? Anything?
DC
I don't even know what Warner Brothers has.
Well, they've got the Game of Thrones stuff, which we could talk about. That.
Well, they got the Looney Tunes license, right? They own Looney Tunes, which is one of the greatest things that we've ever had, in this generation or at all. This generation's been around for 100 years, but yeah.
Last of Us drops next year, which
the John Wick stuff is Warner Brothers. Is it Warner Brothers?
They have the Matrix, which was not the best. That last movie was not what anybody wanted or expected.
John Wick is
Hanna-Barbera. Yeah, all that Hanna-Barbera stuff, Release that stuff back out on Blu-ray or DVD. I think most of those Looney Tune things are like locked up and out of print.
Yeah, and all this is really sad. They've been stripping a lot of titles off of the streaming service. They're making it bare bones, and I think what is the new guy Zaslav or whatever it is? He's like really heavy into the reality TV show stuff. So you're probably going to get a lot of bullshit Property Brothers and like fixer-uppers and stuff like that on the streaming service when they do merge it. Which I'm just like, oh my god, I fucking hate the Property Brothers. They both look like dicks.
I hate reality TV in period, like all that stuff, like 90 Day Fiance, Property Brothers, Property Flippers, like all that stuff is really just it's rot TV. It just rots you really bad. I can't stand that stuff.
Animation took the biggest hit out of the whole HBO Max stuff. They're just canceling stuff left and right to not pay royalties to the creators.
Young Justice, Joe? You think that's next?
They only ordered one season, so they haven't touched it. They haven't discussed.
There's been no
renewing
announcement
it.
or anything after this new season, right?
Yeah, I know. Because season 3 was a DC Universe app, and then it got picked up by HBO Max for only one more season. Now that that's over, they have to shop it around again to see if they want to do a season 5.
Which is crazy because honestly, before last month, I would say HBO Max is probably the best streaming service you can get because they are putting out great content constantly. They are
Apple TV,
oh yeah yeah Apple TV is actually probably better because
morning show, Severance,
Ted Lasso, yeah.
Yeah.
Apple TV is probably better. Yeah, but HBO Max had some really good stuff, and now it just looks like they're just.
Well, that Harley Quinn show is supposed to be incredible, and Warner Brothers is just this huge legacy of film franchises in general, right? So like that app, was great for that. But again, like remember when it was like they separated the DC stuff and it had its own app, and that's where like Swamp Thing was, and then that all kind of collided or collapsed, and then they moved it all into HBO Max, and things got lost in the shuffle. Yeah. It's just. It keeps being handed off to different people, and nobody knows what to do with it, or they know what to do with it, but it's like I want to do it this way, so now we got to scrap this and start from scratch and build it up again from this manner. And this is like the second time we've done this because AT&T did the same thing where it was just quote unquote, in our opinion, just mismanaged, and it just seems to be going that same route again. Hopefully all this is leading up to a reason of, hey, let's kind of cut off the fat and keep it lean and keep it tight and keep it the best. And that's just being hopeful. And, and we don't know what's going to be the outcome of it, so we're kind of in for the ride. Maybe it's going to be like this. Maybe it's going to be like that. And we're all in the mindset of MCU being fantastic and everything besides, the phase 4 being just the top notch stuff ever. And it's, and they've been comparing it, and they've been comparing themselves to it, and they've been trying to replicate it. And that's never the right idea. So we just got to see what happens. But there's a lot of just casualties that's going to take place in the meantime.
Yeah. This is also why I'm such a big proponent for physical media for this stuff, because it could be gone in one day. We've seen a lot of cases where they'll pull certain episodes because the episodes are controversial, like
SpongeBob. That's why we not bought all the SpongeBob DVDs, because they were taking off episodes that were, controversial or whatever the case is.
Yeah. The Michael Jackson episode from The Simpsons. There's a Dungeons and Dragons episode from Community that's been taken off of certain streaming services.
Really? Even the Fantastic Four cartoon series, there's an episode with the Skrulls that is not aired on there anymore. Or been
I had no idea.
Yeah.
You didn't hear about this for Community, Gio?
I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
So the mindset behind it is because there's a character called Senior Chang. He's dressed as a dark elf, and he's in full black makeup like a dark elf. And some streaming services reacted like, oh my God, he's doing blackface. Let's pull the episode off our streaming apps. So that's why, and if you look on certain streaming apps, you will not find the Dungeons and Dragons episode of Community, which is arguably one of the best episodes of that.
Oh, that was the one with the die, right? And every time you rolled it, it was a different multiverse, alternate reality side of things, right? That's a great episode.
So they pulled that, and again, this is why a few months ago I was at a barbecue at a friend's house, and like we were talking about movies and stuff like that, and the guy who I was talking to was like, "You still buy physical media?" I'm like, "Yeah, you don't have your audio compressed. This image is cleaner, and not only that, I don't have to worry about not having it one day because the streaming service decided to pull it."
Yeah.
Right, or that happened with Game of Thrones. The original first print of the Game of Thrones Blu-rays there was a scene where they used George Bush's head on a spike, right? And then they realized that and they took it out. So there's even little things like that, which that might not have been the most appropriate, but still, they can take anything out at any time that they want, or add something or anything of the sorts like that at any point. So
people are buying the illusion that you have content online when you really don't. There's not a whole lot of movies out there to stream legally compared to physical media. And people think you just get you just get the streaming platform and you have access to thousands of movies. That's not really the case. And every month they take them out because they pay a license fee for the movies to stream, and you see that all the time with Hulu, for example. Every month they take out a bunch of movies and they add new ones, and it sucks because not everything's going to be on there. But if you have the physical disc, you'll keep it on your shelf.
Yeah,
I
I'm hoping to God we get a 4K edition of Prey, that new Predator movie. I need that on my shelf right away.
The director did say they would work on it depending on the reception, which we know now it's great because that was the most streamed movie ever on Hulu. I think it's a matter of time, but they'll try and put it out.
So I'll just highlight Andrew's comment here. Everybody go on Amazon Prime and check out that Dungeons and Dragons episode. Oxpete Meat said he just binged the whole thing and didn't see it. So Oxpete Meat, go to Amazon Prime and fulfill that empty hole in your soul that you didn't know was there.
James is saying on the subject of Hulu, a new Hellraiser movie coming out October 7th on Hulu.
Well, there was a Hellraiser movie that came out a few years ago that was just thrown out there, and nobody even knew it was really being made. It was literally just put out there so they could keep the rights.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I hope that this Hulu one is as good as Prey, but if anybody's a Hellraiser fan, it needs to be like super gory and sexy at the same time. Like it has to be like, it has to be like that torture porn Saw kind of hostile kind of movie. Because that first one, which really doesn't have Pinhead or any of the Cenobites in it, is just there's nightmares in my mind that will always be there because of that movie. That thing is just horrific and awesome.
Gabe, did you get the Cyberforce hardcover?
No, I need to pick it up because it's pretty inexpensive on IST. It's like less than $30, I think it was. So I need to pick it up and check it out.
There you go.
Like I was talking about earlier, I had the Kickstarter, but then the Kickstarter was like $75, and I was like, ugh, it's gonna get mass distributed, so I might as well just grab it there. You know, because I've gotten all the other Top Cow stuff, like the Darkness and the Witchblade hardcovers they did.
Disturbingly hot.
Yep.
That's a way to phrase it. Yeah.
It talks about pleasures of the soul and you know, ripping your flesh, and that's what it's all about. You know, it's very berserk almost with some of the character designs and like.
Well, Miura was inspired by Hellraiser and some.
Oh, was he? Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. Especially for the God Hand. Speaking of God Hand, this is unrelated. Before we get to our 2 super late reviews, which I thought was hilarious, I got a little comic book news that I wanted to share. I didn't know about it. Found out a couple minutes ago.
Everybody, give it up to Gio for all the work and effort for bringing up these articles for the show.
Thank you. Spider-Man Blue will be reprinted in a gallery edition hardcover next summer.
Rest in peace, Tim Sale.
Rest in peace, Tim Sale. Yeah.
They should do this with all. What's the gallery edition again? Is that the same as that Weapon X hardcover that came out? Was that
gallery edition? I think it's the really tall ones. Yeah. Like the God Loves, Man Kills. Wasn't that released as a gallery edition?
Let me check that weapon. I can't go over there. I need crutches. I'm gonna pull my crutches to walk 5 feet across my room. Damn it. But yeah, if that gallery edition is the same as that Weapon X hardcover they put out a little while ago, please do it for Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, Hulk Gray, and I don't know about Captain America White because I was so delayed I never got around to reading it.
Yeah.
But all those Tim Sale books should be in that manner. Yeah, Ricky Ray says it's the same thing. So please do it for all of it. For that Tim Sale beautiful ink wash art that he does, it should be in that large format like that, and not in an Omni where it's like 6,000 pages and you drop it and you break your big toe and you got to walk around in a boot for a while and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hey, here's an experiment. The way like the King Conan omnibus. What was it? The Colossal Conan.
The Colossal, yeah.
Would that do as much of damage as the weight on your toe if you dropped it?
It might.
I volunteer not to find out because
somebody do it in the chat.
Yeah, somebody do it that Empire omnibus or the Jason Aaron
or the Blackest Night.
Yeah. Well, I have the Blackest Night. I could do that. I still got about 10 more toes. I can drop it on. Or 9 more, I should say.
You need to get it, Gabe. It's great stuff. Cyber Force.
Yeah, I got a bunch of these single issues that I picked up recently because you can still find those in like dollar bins and stuff. But yeah, that stuff is great.
Gio, if it was up to me, I would reward you with an Inhumans Omni for your hard work.
Maybe
You.
an Epic
I
collection.
appreciate that.
How do you feel about an Epic collection or something like that, Gio? Because I love Epic collections right now. I've been a fan of those for years, and that's been kind of my go-to. So Epic collections or complete collections.
It's cool, but I kind of want the idea that to have the satisfaction that it came out in an omnibus format like the rest of the Marvel family. And then you can do an Epic reprint or something like that. I wouldn't be opposed to an Epic collection, but kind of want the omnibus. Just so they can sit there all nice with the rest of the gang. Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, all that stuff. Sin City? What happened with Sin City?
I think he's talking about the
gallery,
the Sin City omnibus, the big giant massive thing that could stop a bullet. Yeah. You drop that on your foot, it'll turn your foot into oatmeal.
My dream DC Comics DC Films project: a Superman super family film and a Batman family film. You build up to one with multiple movies, and then you do one that both family, friends, and fans can enjoy. There you go.
Yeah. And all those like DC animated films is some of the best stuff DC's ever put out. Those things were fantastic, and that's top quality stuff. That seems to be like my watermark for quality of the DC stuff.
Yeah.
Like that Shazam, we keep trying to get Jess to watch that Shazam Spectre one, and he never does because Jess never watches anything we suggest to him.
I don't think
that's some of the best stuff ever. That's the best stuff.
The only way I got him to watch Peacemaker is I sent him the intro to the show, and he said that's amazing, and he started watching it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
By the way, my favorite moment of that intro is still the fact that Eagly misses his mark. He looks down for a split second, and then he shuffles his little claw.
Yeah, that's a great attention to detail. Speaking of details, last Monday we talked about how we were late because of scheduling on Warner Brothers and Disney Plus. She-Hulk comes out on Thursdays, and freaking the Game of Thrones prequel House of the Dragon comes out on Sundays. So technically, we can't talk about them. So I thought it'd be pretty funny if we do a little segment. We call it like the late reviews that nobody cares about, and we talk about the damn shows.
Nice.
So
awesome title, Gio. Good job.
Thank you, Gio.
So I didn't watch House of the Dragon, but Lou is super excited about it. Yes. And you have the floor to talk about it and give us your review, thoughts, all that stuff.
Okay. Lou, before you do that, real quick, did you get to see it day of, or was it crashed for you?
Oh no, we saw it day of, man. I was not letting that stop me.
Mine was crashed, dude. I saw it the day after, but that first night it was just like, it was a bottleneck. Everybody was trying to get into that small opening.
Well, they announced, they officially announced it has had the most people try to view their content at once that they've ever had. It's 10 million people were trying to watch the premiere of House of the Dragon at the same time. And that's the reason why our stream here kept crashing and we had to keep restarting it and kind of going back to where we left off and stuff like that. We did eventually finish the episode that night just because, goddamn, that is – you want to talk about – Better Call Saul just ended and I was like, damn, man, great TV is like done for a while. And then House of Dragon came out next week and I was like, holy shit, that is a great first episode. And I know a lot of people were disappointed in the final season of Game of Thrones. I wasn't super disappointed with it. I thought this could have been better. They really needed more seasons to kind of flesh out this whole story. George R.R. Martin has now come out and said, hey, don't blame me. They fucked up, okay? I wanted to do 10 seasons. WB wanted to do 10 seasons. HBO wanted to do 10 seasons. The showrunners wanted to fuck around with Disney. Okay,
they wanted to go to do the Star Wars thing, and they
now canceled. So they lost everything. So it really needed more seasons. So right from the beginning, it just feels great to be back into the world of Game of Thrones and how just the writing is so much better than all this other medieval stuff that you typically get from these other shows. And props to Matt Smith, who plays, I forgot the character's name. He plays the king's brother, and he steals every single scene that he is in. He is great in this series. And for those of you that don't know, House of the Dragon is a prequel to the events of Game of Thrones. It's set roughly about 200 years, before the start of Game of Thrones, and it follows around the Targaryen family when they were at their height, when they were at their most powerful. I'm not super versed in the lore of Game of Thrones. I'm not one of those guys that's like going into the wikis and stuff like that. So if I get something wrong, nerds, bear with me. So it follows their family.
You don't have that PhD in the Game of Thrones?
Dude, I looked up the map after this to kind of put together, okay, when does the Mad King come into this? And then I just gave up 5 seconds into it. I'm like, I can make more sense of the X-Men right now than this map and try to put this shit together.
Is this based on any material, or is this really just them kind of piecing stuff together in their own minds?
It's based off one of the novels.
It's a novel that goes back to that far back?
Yes, it's based on a novel, but it's more of like a history book than anything else. It's kind of like his Silmarillion.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to compare it to. I was going to say, it was just that. We're just kind of just a textbook of things. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Silmarillion.
Based on parts of the novel Fire and Blood.
Yeah, so, but coming back into it, and we're getting introduced to all these characters, all these different houses and stuff like that. And one of the things that I love about Game of Thrones is that it doesn't hold your hand. It expects you to pay attention. And if you get lost on who's who, kind of a tough break. You're gonna have to. You got to pay more attention.
That's Game of Thrones. That's Harry Potter. That's Lord of the Rings. All those guys. Yeah, you got to keep like note cards on who
this book. For anybody wondering, this is the book that they based off the show.
Right.
300 years before Game of Thrones, dragons ruled Westeros.
So it's really cool. It's really interesting to see just how the whole premise seems to be around a young girl who, through certain circumstances, is given the throne because her father, who is 10 years into it, who's a Targaryen, and kind of didn't even want the job. It was kind of just given to him. And now how, because of the fact that she's a woman that has assumed the role of queen, or will assume the role of queen, that pretty much just breaks up the entirety of Westeros. Because everybody's going to be fighting against each other. It's like, oh, should a woman be in charge of leading? Then you've got all the political intrigue and stuff. Game of Thrones is back. Bottom line is Game of Thrones is back. It's in top form. And I cannot wait for next Sunday to get more episodes of this.
Yeah, I loved it myself, too. The only thing that I agree with everything you said. It's fantastic. It's great how it's, the king that we're following in this show who, doesn't have an heir anymore because things were going on. How he was just kind of willed, he was just given the title. Now he's just himself given the title to that young woman, that young girl. I like that kind of justification that he's just doing the same thing and she's going to be kind of sucked into it. I'm going to follow her and see what happens. The only thing with this compared to the original Game of Thrones, I don't think there was a single payoff, like oh crap moment, like cliffhanger, like it was the first episode of Game of Thrones when the little boy got pushed out of the window. You're like, oh crap! Like, now something's going on. Like, brother and sister are banging each other out, and this kid got caught, and they pushed him out of the window. Like, where is this going to go? There wasn't anything like that.
Television.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I'm in 100%. And
yeah,
I watched Game of Thrones when it was coming out, and then I kind of fell off for a couple of years until like way after. Until literally, like I think I watched the first like 4 seasons. And then I stopped watching. I fell off because that's back when it was like a year and a half in between like seasons and things like that. So I never saw it all the way through as it was being aired. So I caught up to it later, and we kind of went back around about a year ago, and we watched it from beginning to end. And I loved it. It was fantastic. I didn't have a problem with the last season. I didn't have a problem with the last episode, anything like that. And I kind of figured my idea was some of the people that were kind of having problems with that. It's one of those things where you just get so attached to a series and a set of characters that you have your own expectations that can never be met. Like, oh, Jon Snow should have been king and he should have married, his cousin, whatever. And they would have ruled it together or whatever, whatever. People always have their, they had their own kind of idea of how they wanted it to end, and it didn't end that way. So people kind of just wrote it off and hated it for it. And everybody has the right to do that, and that's fine. But that seems to be my experience. But I watched it from beginning to end with really no attachment to it because I'm just experiencing it as I'm watching it, 3-5 episodes at a time. I loved it. And I think that seems to be the situation with that. And I'm looking forward to see where this new one is going to.
Yeah, same. It's I know it got some hate because there's a certain scene, the C-section scene, that is admittingly really graphic. A lot of people were like, "Wow, this is way too much." And I'm like, "Have you seen the rest of Game of Thrones?"
I don't think it's even that graphic. I think it was just it was like really tense. Like it was really like, they didn't show it. They didn't show them like cutting the baby out or anything of the sorts like that they probably would have like in the original series. You know. This one seems to be a little bit more laid back. There's not as much wiener.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, not only that, you have stuff that you can compare it to the Red Wedding. Which
they showed all that. Yeah, they showed her getting shanked in the belly and all that kind of stuff. Getting their throat slit.
This was graphic, but it wasn't no Red Wedding. Okay,
they didn't even show anything. It was just a lot of blood, but there was no like you didn't see the slice, you didn't see the baby get pulled out or any of the sorts like that. Spoilers for anybody. It's just a tense moment because it's just they did a great job. Whoever wrote it and directed it and the cinematography, it made you feel like you were like it's just really heart-wrenching, and it's really bad in that sense for sure.
Well, also shouts out to them for putting money into this because it's very apparent they sunk a lot of money into this, from costuming, from the CGI. The dragons look
amazing, absolutely incredible dragons.
So. I'm jonesing for the next episode. I can't wait to see what happens. We've already got certain characters, and I'm like, oh, this guy probably won't last long. Or, well, you never know with Game of Thrones. Characters do you think will last all the way, or they'll move past a certain point, they end up dying? I remember.
Yeah, anybody remember Ned Stark? How much you loved him in the first season?
Oberyn, how everybody loved the Viper for that season against the Mountain, and how did that turn out?
Yeah,
which that made Pedro Pascal's career. That dude was only in Game of Thrones for probably 4 episodes. It made his entire career.
Well, same with Jason Momoa.
Yeah, that's true.
He was in it for
a season,
a handful of episodes, right?
The first season. Yeah,
he got some kind of infection and died or whatever. But yeah. But yeah, it looks expensive. Like it's just the buildings, like the whole like architecture of Westeros looks amazing in this. Like it's really, they really sunk some money into that kind of stuff too.
I loved it.
I like it too because it's a other than Matt Smith. I was like, is that Matt Smith? Because I don't know anything about Doctor Who, but I know Matt Smith because of his giant face. You know, and it's Matt Smith. There's really no like, there's no one actor carrying the show on their star power.
Yeah. I didn't know that was Rhys Ifans.
Who's that?
Rhys Ifans. He played the Lizard in Spider-Man movie.
Oh, okay.
Doc Connors. I didn't know that was him. The Hightower or whatever it is. He's the King's Hand. I did not recognize him at all.
Oh.
Oberyn the Mandalorian. This is a fun question here for you guys. I can include myself in this one. Okay, House of the Dragon or Rings of Power, which series will be better in the end? I'm a diehard Tolkien fanboy, so sorry, House of the Dragon. I will be watching Rings of Power religiously.
House of the Dragon.
I feel the same way. I love Lord of the Rings. That's like one of the first like series of novels that really like drug me in as a kid, you know, like in junior high. I remember reading those things on the bus and everything like that.
Yeah.
But that it's still like even with the movies, it's one of those things where it's just it can be boring at times.
Yeah.
It can be, and then with the Silmarillion like series or that book, it's just a textbook, you know. So we'll see what happens with it, but right now,
hey, it looks beautiful. They spent over
there's no doubt about that. Yeah.
$50 million per episode on this first season.
Yeah.
So it better look great.
Yeah.
I just think Game of Thrones has enough. I think it has the most potential because it's not that big in terms of like, you know, Lord of the Rings has been around since like, you know, the early 40s or something like that, right? It's been around forever. So there's been a lot involved with it. There's been 4 or 5 different adaptations of it that's came out over the years and things of that sort. I think it has too much baggage to make it really that interesting, I think. Where Game of Thrones, you could do almost anything you want with it at this point. We'll see what happens. Right. Matt Smith is in Morbius. Yeah, Morbin time.
I think that's the thing that you nailed on the head, Gabe, is that with Game of Thrones, they're not afraid to go there and get graphic and get raw. And I think they've kind of set the standard over the last few years of what a fantasy medieval series should be. And the thing is with Lord of the Rings is there's a lot of stuff the Tolkien estate will probably not let them do. So it's going to be probably PG-13 at best.
Yeah. Oh yeah. J.R.R. Martin's or George R.R. Martin is just he's a money slut. Like he's like, oh, just here's another check. Just let us do whatever we want. Like, okay, sure. Kill him. Whatever. Make up the ending yourself. I don't care.
I firmly believe that's probably where he's at right now because it's been
he's swimming in his he's swimming in this pool full of money.
It's been over 10 years. It's been over the 10 years, and we still haven't gotten the sixth out of seventh book for Game of Thrones. And according to him, he has not even started book 7. I'm like, dude.
At this point, does anybody care? We already have an ending, right? Like,
Well,
it's the same. Like
going
when it comes down to like movies versus the source material, the movies always win, right? Same with like MCU. The movies always win when it comes down to like it being in the ether and it being in the culture and stuff like that. It's always the movie version that wins out, like, oh, Thanos got all the gems and they were all on Earth and he snapped his fingers and the blip was 5 years. You're like, well, no, in the comics, all those gems are basically in cosmic and, he fought all these different elders to get the gems and he snapped his fingers and people were gone for a weekend, so the movie version always seems to be what wins. And so if he writes that ending for that novel, people already have the ending in their head already.
Yeah. I mean, so the ending from the beginning of Game of Thrones, the TV series, Martin had told them, this is what my ending is for the most part. Now, things can change, characters will die here and there and stuff like that, but these are kind of the major beats. And I kind of wonder if he saw the backlash on the ending for the TV show, and now as a writer, he's probably going, well, shit, do I really want to put out an ending to this series now?
Not just that, but how much is that backlash that he's experienced is going to influence his story?
Right.
Who knows? That's all speculation, but that is out there. That is a fact.
Yeah.
So,
damn, it's so much fun to be here with you guys.
Likewise, we missed you.
Miss you.
Speaking of fun, we talked about House of the Dragon. How about we close out with a quick review on She-Hulk, since people, I guess, they want to know what we think about the show.
Gio, on 1 to 5 stars, what'd you give it?
I would do 4.5.
Lou, 1 to 5.
4.
4. I give it. I give it a 5. I loved every second of that first episode.
Awesome.
Every second of it.
I think I genuinely laughed, which hasn't happened in a Marvel thing in quite some time.
Yes.
I like the characters a whole lot, and it's great to see She-Hulk. She's one of my favorite female superheroes. And I like that people were making fun of the visual effects, but they clearly were working on it hard, and the show looks good. It took me a minute to get out of the Uncanny Valley thing of them hulking out and the special effects. It kind of weirded me out. Same with Bruce Banner in the other movies. But it's still a fun show, and I'm excited to see what happens now that we're going to focus heavily on the courtroom stuff with She-Hulk.
I love the best part about it, and they did it the best I've ever seen it, I think, is the kind of character interactions between Bruce and Jen. They absolutely felt like they were cousins or like friends or whatever. That's basically, your cousin's like your best friend, basically your brother or sister, right? Mm-hmm. So they really nailed that. Like their chemistry together, their kind of back and forth, kind of like quips at one another, things of that sort. That was beautiful and perfect. Like, they nailed that 100%. Plus the eating Cheetos with chopsticks is the thing I do now that I'm going to start doing.
Yeah, no, I think the strongest thing about that first episode is definitely the relationship between Jen and Bruce, and how it's very clear. You want dynamic casting. They clearly bounce off each other really well. You can tell they really have a fondness for each other as a family, and it's kind of like Gabe said. when you're around your cousins and your family and stuff like that, you tend to be more relaxed in how you act and what you do. And it was really cool to see Bruce Bruce kind of let his guard down and be genuinely just kind of laid back. I mean, I love the scenes with him at the bar and the bar that he made, and how we get a little bit of background to that, where Tony used to hang out there with them and how they used to talk shop and stuff like that. I really dig the whole interaction with the transformation and stuff like that, where he puts her in that test tube and then the spinning blades and stuff like that come out. I genuinely really like this show. I think the special effects for me were kind of a little bit hit and miss in certain spots. You could kind of tell, but that's kind of par for the course when you've got a almost 7 foot tall woman who's green. It's not going to look realistic. There's just no real way to do that.
Well, it's also where the two main characters are all CGI monsters too. You know, that always kind of happens.
So now they really have to go back to the courtroom to not spend so much money on visual effects.
Yeah, just one Hulk at a time.
Yeah.
This show more than probably since WandaVision made me go, shit, I wish I had the next episode right away.
Yeah, it made you really want to go see it. It also made me want to go. I've never read the John Byrne. I've never really read much of anything She-Hulk related, honestly. But it made me go, oh man, those John Byrne She-Hulk epic collections are looking pretty nice right now, because it's pretty cool and I'm liking the show. So
yeah,
I like that the show's edgier in the dialogue compared to what we've seen this past year with Moon Knight and Miss Marvel and even Hawkeye. The dialogue and interactions felt kind of safe for the most part, and this one, it being a comedy series, they really blossomed, I guess, and were able to take certain liberties with the dialogue. I don't know, I really dug it. It felt different from everything else.
I love the fact that they've confirmed that Steve Rogers is no longer a virgin, that he fucks.
Oh, he was laying pipe during those USO tours, that's for sure. I find that weird that some people find that off-putting for some reason. Like, some people have complaints that he's not a virgin. Like,
really?
Oh. Yeah, I've seen it on, like, you know, through my Instagram feeds and things like that. Some of the complaints about She-Hulk.
People slanging this show are looking for some political axe to grind. People will.
Oh yeah, welcome to comic books. Yeah,
people will always complain. I just mute that stuff out, man. I just enjoy the shows, and if they want to fight in their little echo chamber on Twitter or whatever, let them do it. Whatever, I don't care.
Fact of the matter is that political stuff was in the series originally, and it's been in comic books since
forever.
Forever, since Captain America, since Fantastic Four 1, stuff like that.
Yeah. What I've learned to do is pretty much what Gio does. Is when I see that stuff, I just either mute the YouTube channel, or just go about the rest.
I just keep scrolling, like, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Twitter, not interested, and YouTube, don't recommend this channel.
At the end of the day, it's all the same bullshit. They don't have a single created bone in their body. It's all the same stupid talking points that you're gonna hear.
Yeah,
she's great. She is so good as Jennifer. I love her.
And they did the whole fourth wall breaking, which that was awesome. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, they did that pretty quick too.
Yeah.
It was a little convenient the way that she got the blood on her, you know, as opposed to it being like a transfusion situation. But I get it. You know, it's like let's keep it going. You know, we don't need to stop and have like a whole hospital scene and an emergency transfusion. They just get it going through the car accident, and the blood kind of just gets spilt around and stuff. But it was cool. I liked it. Everything about that show was fantastic. I'm really looking forward to the next one.
Man, everybody's excited, Gabe, that you're here.
I know. I should have mentioned it like on Instagram or something, just as, you know, give everybody a heads up. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for the warm return or welcome. That's great. I appreciate it. This thing
moved. I mean, it's 30 minutes, so you kind of expect it to fly by, but this thing really moved. It was bam, 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 bam. Okay, she's She-Hulk already. Yeah. She's training. She's doing the thing with Bruce. All right, she's back in the courtroom. She's back to the doing her thing. I'm like, wow.
I'm gonna see more of a what's her face, the girl from the Good Place, that plays Titania.
New Girl from New Girl?
No, from the Good Place.
Is she from Good Place?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought she was from New Girl. Yeah. That was the one thing where I was just like, I don't know. It was that stupid kick at the end. I'm like, come on, guys, this clearly just doesn't look good.
I think there's going to be more with that character. Apparently, she's supposed to be like She-Hulk's biggest fan. Like, it's going to be like a social media kind of darling thing or something. But I'm cool. I'm in for the ride. Like, I don't have any preconceived notions. You guys know me. I stay away from trailers. I hate trailers. You know, once the first one goes out, I don't need to see a trailer for every episode and have half the episode, you know, ruined for me. I'm just in to watch the show. I can't wait. It's been so much fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing Tim Roth as Abomination. And and whatever else kind of pops in here, like Frogman, the Leapfrog, whoever it's going to be.
Can't wait for Tim Roth as Abomination. Yeah.
Frogman is in this series, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. We're gonna get
when that trailer released, it was like everybody just went crazy in the back issue market trying to find those books. Like, all right.
Oh my God.
Do what you want.
See if I can find a picture of Frogman.
Yeah, everybody immediately jumps on the whole back issue thing because it's like, oh my God, if I find the first issue of Frogman, I'm gonna be a millionaire.
And the thing is that we don't know what Frogman it is. There's like 2 or 3 different versions. There's like a father and a son, so they're in different. Yeah, he looks stupid. And this is like Vigilante. Like if they make him Vigilante, where he's just like another like silly like character, I'm all in for it. I want more Deadpool Vigilante type characters.
How much does the first issue that Vigilante appears and goes in?
Like nothing, dude. It's DC back issue specs are dead. Like even like the first appearance of Peacemaker is a little pricey because it's like a early Silver Age book in some random like war title. I can't think of it right now. What it's called? They call it like the Fighting Five or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's a little pricey for that manner. But like Vigilante's first appearance is like it's less than a $20 book. I want to say. I like the redesign of Abomination. He looks more like the actual Abomination in the comic.
Yeah.
With those fin ear kind of things going on.
Yeah, he looks great. I want to see how does he tie in with the whole thing with Wong and Shang-Chi and all that stuff. I'm kind of wondering if maybe that was good parole or probation or whatever it is that he's been doing all this stuff lately. So I'm super excited to see how he ties in to this story. And come on. We're probably going to get a throwdown fight between She-Hulk and this guy.
Yeah. And then this is the end of phase 4, right? So hopefully this kind of opens up or leads into some phase 5 stuff.
Is it?
Oh, no, Black Panther's the last one, right? Black Panther's the first phase 5? I forget what it is. But either way.
Marvel Frogman versus DC Kite Man. Who will win? Kite Man's awesome, but I like Frogman. I
think Kite Man's too much of a bitch, and he just kind of just falls and dies everywhere he goes. Like
I'm going with Frogman. He's pretty silly. I dig it.
Rick Ray, the first appearance of Muerto is going cheap everywhere, and it will never go up above a quarter.
Is that the Bad Bunny character?
Yes. Or he's only in 2 issues.
That's another one that's just dumb. As soon as they announced Bad Bunny as that, it was like, oh, we are good this first appearance at El Muerto. Like, sure.
One of only 2 appearances in a comic book. Okay. Gio, you want to talk about the Disney Plus King Kong live action TV series that went into development. I'm a little confused. It's going to be based off the King Kong thing and not Kong Monsterverse Kaiju. So I don't know what they're doing. I still need to know more about that before I can comment and geek out.
Is Kong in public domain? Is that why?
I don't know. Well, let's find out.
That's a good question. I wouldn't be surprised if he is.
Been around a long time.
King Kong public domain. The original book is apparently in the public domain, and the original film, which was released in 1933, will go into public domain in 2029. So not yet. I hope it goes into public domain, then I can make a movie out of it or something. I don't know. Make a podcast and not get sued by anybody.
Well, it's going to be depending on what version of King Kong it is, though. Same with like Mickey Mouse. Like Mickey Mouse is about to go into public domain, but it's the Steamboat Willie version. So it's not the one with like the white gloves and like the red shorts. That one's always forever going to be locked down by Disney. That's
my favorite version of Mickey. I love Steamboat Willie. That's one of my favorite things of all time.
Same. I love Steamboat Willie.
Hey, Matt. Thank you for joining.
Good old Matt. Good to see Matt, dude. There he is. Yeah, man. Not gonna lie, Gabe. I've been starting to lift heavy and dropping a plate on my toe has been a legit fear of mine. Yeah, just take your time re-racking those weights, or whatever,
or get the steel toe boots thing.
Well, Matt's with a personal trainer now, dude. He's putting in the work.
Good. Yeah,
He's
that's the
looking
way to
great.
do it, man.
Nice. Jesse Say What? Definitely good seeing Gabe again.
Oh, there's Jesse. I didn't know it was Jesse Say What. The name was so long, I didn't read all of it.
The
Yeah,
artist
Jesse, good to see you,
formerly
bud.
known as Jesse Say What.
There you go.
Is that a King Kong Bundy? No. Is that Andre the Giant? Icon?
Andre, yeah.
Okay.
So before we wrap up, because I got like 2 more minutes in this, let me remind you guys that this show is sponsored by the fine folks at In Stock Trades, where you can get your She-Hulk Epic collections. You can get all the DC and Marvel books that you want. You get them at In Stock Trades. Omnibus, trade paperbacks, hardcovers, manga, and so much more, up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts tack on an extra 2% to that. And if you order $50 or more, you get free shipping. Fantastic customer service and wonderful packaging at InStockTrades.com, the official sponsor of Omnibros Live here on the Omnibus Collectors Network. Shout out to IST.
Well, everybody's asking me about that Cyberforce card.
Yeah.
I haven't got it yet, but I think I feel like I'm responsible to get it now, because that's probably the 3rd or 4th person, Raphael. Yeah, I'll say it again. I had it on Kickstarter when it first coming out, but it was like $75 or something like that. So I was like, I don't need that for a different dust jacket or whatever. So I just canceled that, and I'm just going to wait for it to get mass distributed like it did. So I'll pick it up on IST eventually for sure. But if you ever do a Kickstarter for Top Cow, they load you up. Like I did the Kickstarter for Darkness, and they just give you like stickers and magnets and a shirt, and they really load up that box and stuff. Fantastic packaging.
Nice.
Do you still pull that torpedo? Can you call them up and be like, hey, can you set this aside for me and go and pick it up?
No, I don't really have a pull down. I'm not getting regular books on a regular anymore, but I still do IST on Tuesday. Okay. IST, I mean, not only because I'm not really a part of the show, so whatever, but IST is always my first go-to spot. If they don't have it, then I'll bounce around to the other sites and see where I could find something. But IST is always my first go-to. Same with like that Todd McFarlane Amazing Spider-Man Artist Edition. When that thing comes out, yeah, I'm 100% be on IST. I'll be doing that F5 waiting to get that thing. Like I need that in my life.
There you go. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to start wrapping up. Thank you to the chat. You guys are great, as always. Thank you so much for all the lovely feedback and wonderful comments. Really appreciate it. We're going to be back tomorrow with a fantastic manga episode. O'Reilly will be here. We're going to talk about some drama, some spicy drama that's been happening in the manga world. That's going to be fun.
Can we talk about some smut manga? That's my favorite topic.
He talked about it last week with a friend of his, so you guys might want to check that out. They talk about some interesting books with some smut and some good smut, not the trashy kind.
Isn't good smut and trashy smut the same thing?
There you go.
When it comes to manga, there's quite the separation between the two. So yeah. Thank you to the sponsor. Thank you to everybody watching later. Let us know in the comment section what you thought of the episode and what you thought of the topics discussed. Leave your reviews for the shows, all that fun stuff. Comics Guide, where can people find you on the internet when you're not here with us?
You find me at Comics Guide 101 on Twitter and Comics Guide 101 on YouTube, where there's an archive of old videos of all my stuff. And this Friday, or next Saturday, I think maybe Gabe and I will be able to work it out. One of these Saturdays that's coming up, you'll be able to find
next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Stay tuned.
You'll be able to find both of us doing a Patreon show at patreon.com/omnibroslive, where for $5 a month you can join us, talk to us. And if you enjoy this conversation today, we get a lot more graphic, a lot more raw, and we talk a lot of smack about certain other people and stuff like that.
We did a read-through of Hickman's Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the beginning of it all the way up to Infinity on the last After Dark show, and then the one on Saturday we're going to be doing this from Infinity up to Secret Wars. So something fun. We've been wanting to do some readathons so we can do some reading books and get some more people involved and things like that. So if you want to do something like that, hey, shoot us some ideas. Maybe we could do like a Fables read through or some kind of read through. It's always fun just to be able to read the books, because this channel and everything to do with omnibuses, a lot of times it's about collecting and buying and stuff like that. It's really hard to kind of get around to the reading side of things. So it's more of an endeavor to get more reading done about it. So
there you go. Patreon, Omnibros Live. Go do it. Gabe loves 90s comics. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram, Gabe Loves 90s Comics. So you can see pictures of my banged up toe graphically. Beautiful. So be aware of that. And I'm on TikTok doing a Fantastic Four read-through. Yeah. You can find me there as Unstable Molecules.
That's a dope name.
That's a good name.
Thank you.
Me, I don't know, bunch of channels, but mostly a Week in Geekdom where I talk about anime and manga. Subscribe, help a brother out. Thank you to everybody once again. We'll be back next time for another fantastic episode of Omnibros Live. Subscribe, like, watch us, all that fun stuff.
I like your new bedding back there, Gio. It's very genie in a bottle looking.
It's been a minute since I've used it. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Bye, everybody.
Peace.
Not everyone.